we go. Here it comes. Bad news for Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now, I wish I wasn't saying this, and I don't want to be saying this, but it is important I do. The information I'm about to give in this video could make or break the game on release. What Ubisoft do now will really affect the course of the game. But it's not just for Assassin's Creed Mirage, it's for all of Ubisoft's upcoming games. The approach they take, the direction they go, following the recent happenings, will either 1. Make them a ton of money, but the games will suffer overall, or 2. Make for a really good game. Now for a quick rundown of what happened, if you may or may not have heard, Ubisoft's most recent games have not been making as much money as they were projected to make. This is in turn basically resulting in investors pulling out of their investments within the company, meaning Ubisoft have less money as a company. Along with making less money means a potentially financially unstable company. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail on the ins and outs of the money they're losing, the money they're wanting to make, their projections and things like that. This video is mainly for Assassin's Creed Mirage and what this could mean for the game. As I in a way alluded to in the beginning of this video, Ubisoft could take Assassin's Creed Mirage and their future games in 2 different directions, or one of 2 different directions going forwards. Number 1, the option that we really want is they say, okay, this is now or never, we have to make good games. No longer can we make empty, boring games and try and shill microtransactions to our customers. We need to make genuine good games to get investors back on board, but most importantly, to get the fans back on board so that they do buy our games, so that we sell well for years to come. Because if you make a game of the year, a great game that people love, they're going to sell for years to come. But if you make a game that is boring but full of microtransactions, sure, it'll make a lot of money quickly, but will it make long-term money? So best case scenario for us, the fans, AC Mirage comes out and they just make sure it's a brilliant game. It's what we've been asking for, it's what we want, it's what we deserve. They are making an Assassin's Creed game that has everything we want. A well-written, well-structured narrative with a good storyline. A great world to explore, but not too big, with lots of things to do. You buy the game, you get the game. You don't have to pay for extra things locked behind a paywall. It is what it is when you buy it. Just like Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, etc., the game sells for many years to come because it's a good game. So there's that option, and I hope it is that option. But let's talk about the more likely scenario. Ubisoft right now are probably not thinking long-term investment and long-term money. They're thinking, we don't want to go under, we don't want to go bankrupt, we don't want to lose any more investors. How do we make short-term money? How do we get a lot of money quick? They see their cash cow series, Assassin's Creed, right around the corner. They potentially see an opportunity. Okay, we originally weren't going to have that many microtransactions within this game, but right now, we kind of have to. That's what they could be thinking. Their business is on the line at the end of the day, so when they release Assassin's Creed Mirage, perhaps they push it out a little bit earlier than they were originally planning to release it. The game potentially comes out with some bugs. Maybe a lot of bugs, maybe not that many bugs. Maybe a few though. Bugs aside, the game is full of microtransactions. Again, they originally said it wasn't going to have any, but it probably would have had a few, but they originally said there wasn't going to be many microtransactions. That's before they started losing money. In a frenzy, a panic, they say to themselves, well, we created this set of armor for the game, we created this area of the world, we created this little storyline. Okay, why don't we take that and put it behind a paywall, because that way we're going to up our sales by, I don't know, 200, 300% or something like that. And I'm not a numbers expert, but that sounds about right, doesn't it? I don't know. So yeah, AC Mirage comes out. Maybe it's a great game, but maybe it's full of booster packs. Maybe lots of content we wanted or we were originally going to get is now behind a paywall for an extra $10. Maybe because of this recent incident with investors with money, when AC Mirage releases, it's going to be lame without paying for extra things. It's going to be boring. It's going to be a shell of what it could be, or really what it should be. Now, this video is just acknowledging that could be a real possibility. I do fairly believe that this could be something that happens. Ubisoft look at the numbers, look at some drastic change they need to make soon. They need to bring in money soon. They push and shove a load of new microtransactions into upcoming games. I think that's the more likely scenario out of making a good game that sells well or making microtransaction, big selling, shilling, XP boost game that makes a lot of money quick but might not overall. I think that's more likely because when you're in a tight situation, you need to think about the short term. You need to think about the right now, not the 5 years down the line, because you might not be there 5 years down the line if you were to continue on this downward spiral. So I do think it likely, as I said, that Mirage could potentially suffer for this. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to comment on this video, oh, you're just a hater, leave Ubisoft alone. I'm not saying Mirage is going to be bad. I really want Mirage to be good. I'm just facing the likely facts here. I'm looking at evidence, I'm looking at stuff that's going on right now, and I'm speculating on what this could mean for games going ahead. I'm talking about Mirage because that's Ubisoft's next big game. It's also what I talk about on this channel, but the same thing can be probably said for future Far Cry games, future any game they make. I saw a lot of people saying, oh my god, is Mirage going to be cancelled? Don't worry about that. They wouldn't dare cancel their most popular series. If they have a chance at seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, Assassin's Creed Mirage is going to be what does that. And again, that's what worries me the most. Part of me does kind of wonder, is this why they haven't shown us gameplay for months and months after announcing the game and we're getting closer to release and we still haven't seen anything, which has been weird overall? Is this the reason why? Did they know behind the scenes that they were doing bad or projecting to do bad, they were losing investors before it was officially announced? Is this why we haven't seen gameplay? Because they've decided after they've announced the game, hang on a minute, we were going to show gameplay, but we actually need to rework the game a lot to fit in these new microtransactions so that when the game does come out, we will make a lot more money. Yes, the game wasn't originally going to have any, it was going to be more story driven and narrative driven and well done and actually what you pay for, but we need to rework this, otherwise the future for our company does not look good. I do think that could be likely, and I don't want to say that, but you've got to face the truth. It's a worry, it's sad, I hope it's not the case. It's a terrible look for Ubisoft because they've already been making games in these last few years that do just push microtransactions and are almost an insult to the player. What Ubisoft really needed to do is to lean away from these things. So on one hand, I get it that they are putting in microtransactions. On the other hand, it's not the player's fault that the company's doing bad and the company's not been getting the money they have projected. So should the player have to suffer for Ubisoft's own potential mistakes, maybe? I'm not so sure. I've been saying this since AC Mirage was announced. This is Ubisoft's last chance with me personally. If Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out, it's full of microtransactions, it's not really a return to form, they were just saying that, and it's just kind of a boring mess of a game similar to Odyssey and Valhalla, then I'm not going to be playing their games again. It's sad to say the series has kind of been ruined at this point, but I just don't want to see it get ruined anymore. I don't want to feel like I'm being kicked in the balls over and over when I buy their games. At the same time, I want to be open-minded that this could really be a good Assassin's Creed game in the way that they're saying, a return to form, the Assassin's Creed series going back to its roots with a more streamlined title. I hope that's the case, and I am open to that being the case, and regardless of what I talked about today, I'm still open to that being the case. Do I think it's likely? I don't know. Maybe not. I'm probably leaning more towards not likely. It's more likely that the game will now be full of microtransactions based off of the new information we have got. And that is why you've got to be cautiously optimistic with this game. It could be great, it may very well be great, but it also very well may be not great, bad. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments, we'll get a discussion going. And to my subscribers, if you haven't checked it out already, I recently made a retrospective sort of look back at a cancelled PSP game known as The Elder Scrolls Travels Oblivion. There's lots of goofs, there's lots of laughs in there, there's also a lot of, goofs and laughs. So if you want to watch that, enjoy it, mate. It's there, linked in the description. I love you guys, mate. The Father of Understanding guide us. I will see you soon. Goodbye.